this week's Bungie update possibly is going to make us stop crying in the near future. How soon, we don't know. But in this update, Bungie talked about a bunch of things that we have been talking about on this podcast for a long time. I think the community in general, especially those guys over at Reddit, have been talking about things like vault space. What's going on there? Apparently, Bungie, it's on their radar. We know you need more space to collect all treasures you gain from your missions, and more gear is on the way. Raid fixes for those times when Atheon and Crota just pull out a plate full of cheese.
They freestyle sometimes.
Yeah, they straight up freestyle. How you doing?
I gotta bring up a note about this. Somebody soloed Atheon. Yeah.
What?
He used the Warlock, and what he did is every time Atheon started to teleport, he'd fall off,
kill yourself,
kill himself, revive, and then he's there porting, but you don't die because nobody gets ported. It's like I don't know if it's a glitch or what, but it's the first time I've ever seen somebody solo that raid boss.
That's fascinating.
It's really cool.
So will they
it's on
fix
Reddit
that,
right
is the
now.
question. I don't think they'll fix that, actually.
Okay.
I hope they don't. That's so cool. I was wondering if anybody would ever do that.
What else is the rundown?
The next thing they mentioned on here, which I wasn't sure what to take away from this one, but audio and visual. Not everyone wants to see or hear the game the same way, which is why we're looking at providing more options.
I know exactly what this is. This is chat versus game volume. So like sometimes you're in party chat, but you have the game mixed in your headset, and there's no option to turn down the game volume or turn the game volume up or turn chat down or up. So you want to like adjust your mix basically, right? And there's no option.
Mix, you're saying?
Yeah, there's no option in Destiny to turn down the game audio. So sometimes you can't hear your friends because the game audio is too loud, and it's about adjusting.
You can do that in the PS4 itself, for example.
You can't adjust your game audio. You cannot.
You can adjust the mix.
You can adjust your mix. You can say all audio through the headset or just chat audio, but you can't get both.
Oh yeah, you still can't turn it up. So yeah, I think that's probably part of it. I think they also usually you have a couple options like surround and other things. Headphones. So it's possible that they're adding that stuff like support for surround in your headphones.
That's what I think they're adding. I think players just want to be able to turn down the game volume.
Okay. I thought it was going to be a film noir filter, so I could put
Not
it
quite.
on.
Well,
I don't know
it wouldn't be the first time, though.
No.
Remember that, what was it, ODST? I want to say, like, the different replay modes, you could, like, put on different filters and sort of see the game in a different light.
Oh, you know what visual could be? Take off the HUD so you can take photos and stuff. That would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. But you can take photos either way on both platforms these days.
You can, but there's a HUD on it.
Yeah, there is.
I don't think it's going to be anything that big, honestly. I do think
just
it's more
turn
what
off
you're
the HUD.
talking
That's
about,
an easy option to toggle.
I will say, though, that because of the...
Like
says you.
Yeah.
An engineer.
Come on, Bungie, get it together.
Give Destin what he wants. I will say on the audio side, though, of what you were talking about, with that sort of the mix problem, every party I play with in Destiny uses on PS4 uses just PS4's dedicated chat as a way to talk. No one uses that I play with uses the Destiny sort of Fireteam Chat, as it were.
Oh, the in-game stuff.
Yeah, the in-game
I'll
stuff.
switch
we all
to it
go
if
around
I'm having a lot of NAT issues. I'll switch to that.
Yeah.
Good old NAT issues.
Oh, NAT issues.
Like so-and-so can't.
Never thought
NATed with you. That happens all the time.
This would be part of gaming vocabulary.
Yeah. 2015.
Oh, my NAT issues.
It's back. All right, so PvP ammunition, next thing they mentioned, the Crucible team wants to change the way ammo crates dictate the flow of battle.
Yeah. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
People memorizing the patterns and
It's like heavy ammo coming. All right, everybody get to your heavy ammo spots and fight for it.
Yeah.
Toss a void grenade there so nobody can stand
I think it'll be
on it.
random, right? Do you think that's what they're going to do?
I don't know.
It's got to be.
No idea.
So.
It's got to be more random.
There's specific spots where they have to spawn. Like
sure,
they
but
put
it's like
How do you
chests
make
and
it
stuff
random?
in PVE.
I
So
think-
meaning they won't always appear in the same spot. Meaning you can't just sit around when he's like heavy ammo available, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna like hide over here all this time.
Yeah.
Because that is what happens.
It's a good impression.
Yeah, thank you. Try.
Yeah. You should do the next VO.
I would love to talk to that guy. That guy's voice is awesome.
Okay.
I don't know what his
Hello,
actor's
friend.
name is. I don't know. Well, that's scary. I don't want me to
Breakfast incoming.
do that. Perfect.
All right, so then strikes. The numbers tell us that there are some missions that are successfully completed, far less than others, inspiring us to look at why people quit.
Yeah.
So I found this interesting only because of the existence of Nightfall and these other, like, there's a lot of content geared around strikes. So I was surprised to see outside of that, there are people who are just not finishing strikes, not regularly taking advantage of them.
People bail often. So, like, I was playing the weekly heroics, right? And I was sniping because there's a part where you go and you snipe all the guys, and they'd run down there and die, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go revive you. So I just snipe, and then they just leave.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I just did last night.
Yeah, well, like it's not my fault you run down there like an idiot.
Well, but this is what happens when you know, and we'll talk about this topic in a future podcast, I'm sure, but when you're not on the Fireteam Chat, and that's when it does introduce some big issues. Like, I totally bailed. I was like, this guy's not going to, like, come down and revive us. He's the only one. It's going to take, like, 10 minutes. I could just restart this thing.
Yeah.
It does cause issues,
Yeah, no, for sure. So, wait, this is that raid where you're sort of firing down
Ishtar
at
Sink.
Yeah, Ishtar Sink. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh man, no, I'm laughing at that only because this becomes the communication issue specifically to me, and this debate has not happened yet.
Yeah, well, save it, Jose.
He's a key point of mine for why I don't want match-made raids, and this is going to continue to be one of the things.
We'll get into it. I still played and finished the weekly
we can talk about that today.
You and I have been going quietly and loudly, even off mic, back and forth on this for almost months now.
Yeah, I was told there's not enough time to do things in here, right?
Well,
I had some ideas.
On
wait
Friday.
till next week. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. So then I would be curious just for them to release what missions those are, in fact, that people aren't finishing and why.
Quick question on strikes. When's the last time you guys have played the strike that they introduced for the PS4? What's it called again?
Oh, the Undying Mind?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
That's what you face off against. Yes.
No, is that it?
Yeah.
I can't remember. The PS4 exclusive
When's the last time
strike.
you played that one?
I played it at PSX.
Right?
With
it's really
people from Bungie.
It doesn't seem to show up in the rotation.
Played it. I never played it.
I think it doesn't even show up in the rotation. I think because it's not an Xbox One strike. But anyway, I just was wondering if maybe people didn't like that either. It is like, I don't know. It seemed cool at first. Then I'm like, I don't like this. It's like just wave after wave.
I like it, but like I have no incentive to play it.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to get? Some blue engrams?
Yeah.
That I don't really need. So no, I haven't played it yet.
It's a lot of the game, Justin. But.
Yeah, and so a lot of the update as well was
Grimoire.
talking about how sensitive it is, or how sort of sensitive a process it is to update a live game. I mean, this game is out in the wild. They mentioned that the reason heavy ammo took so long to fix was because every time they've tried to find a possible solution, it introduced more bugs, which at the end of the day is a big challenge for any team that's sort of fixing and adapting a game that's already live and in the world. So I have nothing but respect for those guys for the amount of work it must take to engineer some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, looking back, I know it's easy for us to point the finger and say, well, some of this stuff from day one should have been really well thought out, and why did it end up this way?
That's the issue, right? Like, I've never had to do engineering and bug triage like on a game that is this complex, and it's easy to say, like, how could they not fix this? Like, well, guess what? They have been trying to fix it. I don't know why it takes so long. In the end, it has been a very long time.
Which bug are we talking about specifically? All the bugs?
Heavy ammo, as an example. You'd think, because meaning at a glance, you're like, okay, so fix it in like 3 weeks. Like, what is taking so long? I do think also their team's split up, and I wouldn't miscount or... Yeah, like I think we look at them like all of Bungie is on Destiny. No. I think a very small team.
There's an engineering team. There's a graphics.
That's right.
team,
But I also
there's
think
a
they're
HUD
very
team.
busy with Destiny too,
Well,
and also all the new
House of
content probably
Wolves.
past what they made. Well, I think House of Wolves was probably pretty baked. I think they're on the stuff past that.
They're probably
They're fixing stuff for House of Wolves, obviously.
They're
like
probably
they
on
said.
QA testing right now for House.
Right. Well, and they also had to take the feedback from Dark Below and like the exotic upgrade system and other stuff, and I think they did have to go back and double back to House of Wolves.
We are less than 30 days from April, which is the earliest they could launch House of Wolves.
It's not. I'm telling you, it's going to be mid-May. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's
Why do you think mid-May?
I think they need as
Q2,
much
right?
time as possible to get that game where it needs to be. It's 2 or 3 weeks before E3 when they're going to make another announcement. I think they probably will make
That's
something.
when Comet sort of shows its face.
Yeah, I
at
think
E3?
that's when they'll be like, okay, we've made it this far. We listened to you. We did this stuff. But here's what's coming next, and it's going to be a more exciting package probably than I don't think it's just going to be like, oh, it's another expansion. I think they're going to give you a better look at what's coming. So that's why I think mid-May you can see, right, like even with this next patch 1.1.2, right, they're like in the next few weeks. I mean, do the math, like that's April 1st. So it's like, man, like they're not going to release House of Wolves 2 weeks after that. That's my personal opinion.
I have to ask
don't
you,
have any info.
House of Wolves is coming. We know that's coming. What do you think Comet, if it exists, will be?
I think it's going to be I think it's going to have a new raid and the whole thing like you'd get with any expansion.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a more complete game world touch-up. You know
Like
what I mean?
it'll
Like
have a
they haven't done a lot to
narrative
Crucible and to the main world and the tower, and I think there will be enough small things there, or meaning things like, and there was even a leak on this stuff, right? Like more than more than a strike, right? It's probably a couple strikes, and I think they'll introduce like some things that you just wouldn't have expected. I mean, maybe stuff like shaders finally comes, right? More
for weapons,
more
and
like
armor,
special stuff
or
from
no
the
armor
speaker.
shaders exist. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think they'll pad out all the stuff that normally like you don't get that much of with the DLC releases as we've seen.
Yeah.
But I don't
Or
know, it's a little too early to judge. They've only done one DLC drop. So let's see how House of Wolves
especially
goes.
like all the stuff that went silent once you finish the game. Like the speaker has nothing to do for you unless you're just taking multiple.
Good job.
Yeah.
Look, he's glowy now.
Yeah,
you did it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that in Destiny, which becomes really strange, right? Like even the gunsmith, unless you're buying like ammo synth, he does nothing.
He does nothing.
He's
There's some
he's
really
the most
talented
useless
voice
vendors.
actors that say like 4 lines.
Tess Everest, nothing.
Yeah.
What has she ever done?
Yeah,
Ever.
Yeah,
the
right.
gunsmith, by the way, is what's his name from Gears of War, isn't it? I heard that. I didn't look
Cliff
it up. as a
Blazinski.
fact. No,
Tascador?
Marcus. I heard it was
Oh,
Marcus.
come on.
I heard it was him. We'll look that up.
Okay.
I didn't come prepared. I shouldn't have blurted that out. But
That's cool.
No,
Just
that's
guess.
fair. That's fair.
anyway, yeah, I do
Yeah,
think
I think
they'll do
Nolan North
more
is,
complete.
the guy. Nolan North,
Drake
right?
is in the game now.
Yeah.
No, I do think they'll do a more complete update that'll make it feel bigger, right? Like you'll get all the little things, like even just like a pack of shaders, a pack of emblems. I think you'll get more of that, which we haven't been getting too much of with the DLC.
Nathan Fillion is horribly underused
He's
in
still
this
going.
game.
All right, so
he's the hunter guy in the basement.
Oh, yes, he is.
And I'm like, that's all you say? Like, come on. Like,
Wait,
and he
who
even
is
talks
Nathan
about
Fillion?
like wishing he could
Yeah,
get out there and adventure and
Dead
stuff
Orbit
like that.
or
No,
he's the hunter lead guy. Like if you play as a hunter,
Yeah.
when you
Oh,
go
he's
talk
the
to
Hunter
him-
Vanguard.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's the
Oh,
hunter
he is the
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
that. That's because I'm not a hunter. I've never actually spoken to the guy.
What?
Yeah.
You have not
Hi,
played the
Nathan.
best class in
I'll
Destiny?
hit you up on Twitter.
That is the
I'm
best
sure he's
class in
listening.
Destiny. It is the hunter, man.
Yeah.